DreAllDay.com.
So we are back. The Anna and Dre show is back in effect.
He just like pops the camera on and that's it. Can I get a warning?
That's how you think I got here. That's all I do. Turn the camera on and just start creating. So, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and this is
Anna Dolce. I don't have AK.
Alright, so the topic now is dating a person who you know is not relationship material, but you're dating them anyway. Why would... Alright, I'll tell you why a man would do this, and then you can speak to why a woman would do this.
Alright.
A man would date a woman who we know is not relationship material probably because he's sexually attracted to the woman and he knows that there's a sexual exchange happening there. And maybe sometimes the woman is in on the joke too. She knows what it is. But sometimes she's not. I wouldn't put myself in this category, but I've known many men who will make a woman do what they gotta do that woman feel like it's gonna be something, maybe,
right,
but it ain't nothing. And he's just using her for the sex, and then eventually she gets to the point where like, all right, she asks for a little bit more, and then the dude is like, yo, it ain't no more. This is it. What you've been getting, the outside stick, that's all you get. That's it. And then she might be pissed off and hate him for the rest of his life. And he moves on. Like, well, look, I got the sex out of this, so I'm happy. So that's why a man might do it. Or sometimes the woman knows what it is and it's just a casual thing. But why would a woman do something like that? Date a guy who she knows she don't want to be her man or husband or have kids with him, but she still dates him. What does she get?
She's getting something out of it. She's getting attention. She's getting in the moment attention and affection. Basically, you can be lonely and be with somebody just so you're not alone. Or have the sexual exchange you're talking about. And I think for most women it's probably more psychological than physical. And meaning, we made a video before about daddy issues. And women who have daddy issues, who haven't healed them. A lot of people have daddy issues, men and women, but we made a video about people who haven't healed them and who still act on those issues. So those kind of women could be in a relationship because they have daddy issues, because they have not gotten enough attention and affection, and they have to be in a relationship. They have to seek affection and attention from the outside, from other people. So if that's all they can get in the moment, they will keep that relationship going. Or I think at some level everybody knows what it is, but they ignore the signs, they deny the signs, they're in denial because they don't want it to end, because they will feel alone. They will feel like they don't matter. They don't want to be disappointed. They don't want to be facing the truth. So that happens too.
So have you personally ever been in a situation where you were dating a guy, you knew you didn't want to be in a relationship with a guy, but you dated him anyway?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because just like I said, it was for good company. It was more like a company, right? It was like a friends with benefits situation where you have a good friend and you connect on many levels, but you know that it's not going to be a long-term thing. And sometimes, it can also be like an issue-based relationship too. Like, you have very high highs and very low lows. But it's not going to go anywhere. But you know that when it's taken away from you, it's not going to be like this super traumatic experience. You can distance yourself from it. At least this was my case. I could distance myself from it without any feelings hurt or anything like that.
So the man, did he know that he had the same perspective on a relationship from what you saw?
He did, but he was always hoping for more. Like he always hoped like it would change. He always hoped that, this can be the real thing. And I think he was looking at himself like, oh, if I do these things right, if I'm this kind of person, she's gonna pick me. like she's gonna be with me long term. But for meanwhile, he was like, okay, well, I don't have this and this together, so she's, you know, she's not gonna go for me in that way until I get my shit together, basically. Not that he didn't have his shit together, but he thought that he needed to become more for me to pick him long term, you know.
So you were using him for dick and companionship while he was trying
No,
to be
I
your
was not
boyfriend.
using him. I was not using him. It was just a natural progression of the friendship. It went there.
Natural what?
Yeah, the friendship progressed.
So y'all were friends at first.
You can say that.
Would he say that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he would.
Well,
Yeah, he had.
so y'all were friends.
We were not friends, but we were friendly at first. And it started with just
How did y'all
regular.
meet?
We met out and about.
All right, so he approached you because he was interested.
Yeah.
Okay. And you were interested back.
Yes.
You sure?
No, I wasn't quite interested, but I was just, it wasn't like, I was with a lot of people, he was with his people, and it was like this, you know,
All right, so
getting to know people.
you and your friends were out, and he was out with his friends, and then your groups kind of intermingled.
Yeah, kind of sort of like that.
So you got to know him a little bit
Yeah.
that day, and then like how did y'all start to communicate though after the initial interaction?
Oh, in this particular case, his friend was hitting on me, and he was hitting on me, and his friend was hitting on me, and he took offense. Like, he had an argument with his friend about it because his friend went for it, knowing that he was interested in me. So they had an argument about it, and they came clean to me. They said, like, yeah, he wanted your number and I wanted your number, and I was upset with my friend that he gave you his number and took yours, knowing that, like, I claimed you, like, I wanted to talk to you.
So they was both competing over you at the same time.
Right.
So who won?
So my friend won, because when I found out about his friend, I was completely turned off. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would he, like, take a girl from this guy? Like, that's just
So wait a minute.
nasty.
All right, so you're out, and there's two guys, and both of them had approached you. Both of them they approached you.
I had like a mild flirtation with this guy.
With the guy you ended up.
Yeah, the guy I
dating.
ended up dating, but
Okay.
the guy that was his friend
Right.
he was very direct. He literally, like, almost he like got my number. He was very, very pushy, and he got my number, and I gave it to him, kind of knowing that nothing would come off of it because I already started flirting with the other guy, his friend. So his friend was very sneaky, but I did give him my number. And then after that,
sneaky and direct at the same time.
he was asking for my number, but he wasn't telling me the real reason why he was asking my number. He was being very vague.
Well, didn't you know that he was interested in you? Why else would he be asking?
Yeah, but he made it sound like it was harmless, you know. He made it sound like it was harmless.
Like a friendship thing, not like a dating thing.
Like I said, he was vague, so it could have gone both ways, but he was pushy about it. But I had already started flirting with his friend, or talking to his friend, so I found it. Later on, when I found out, I was kind of turned off.
So when the guy you ended up dating, found out that his friend knew that his boy liked you, but he went and talked to you anyway, he got mad at his boy.
Yeah.
So did they stay friends after that? Were they able to mend the friendship?
Yeah, they were able to do that.
Okay, but then you ended up talking to and dating the guy you actually liked. The
Right.
first guy who liked you in the first place.
Right. Right.
So, all right. Anyway, so this guy, how soon into the conversations did you realize, all right, this guy's not long-term material, but he's useful for right now? He wasn't Mr. Right, but he was Mr. Right now.
I mean, I don't remember the timeline like that, but it went on for a little while, like kind of getting to know each other and hanging out with each other's friends and stuff like that. And at some point, it turned into more of a romantic thing. But I don't remember the timeline exactly. It wasn't right away.
Right. So were you
But
ever?
I knew I knew right away he wasn't the long-term material.
How'd you know?
But the relationship didn't start until a little later.
How'd you know he wasn't long-term material? What about?
It just, I don't know. It just, what he said and how he was, I always envisioned a lot more for myself in a partner or in a romantic relationship. So I knew, and at the time, I didn't want to be in a long-term, serious relationship. I really didn't.
Okay, so what was he missing that made you say, all right, I like him, but this is not going to go any further than just casual dating? Because these are the kind of things that there are men out there who want to know, so they can look at themselves and try to figure out.
Yeah, well, it all depends on the woman. Like, it depends on what a woman wants for herself. I'm a different woman than.
Yeah, we're talking about. So where does he going to use you as an example?
For example, for me, what he was missing.
Yeah, what did you see in him that made you say, all right, he looks good and physically I'm attracted, but he ain't going to be my husband?
I guess there was a certain, he wasn't very refined. Like, he was, I don't want to say crass or rough around the edges, nothing like that. He was refined in many ways, but for me, like, he wasn't as evolved as what I had pictured for myself. Like, I wanted somebody that's a highly intellectual, like, not just the good looks, but someone that I'm proud to present and say, like, this is a man I've chosen because of his brain and how he is and how he thinks and how he works on himself, not just, oh, look how good he looks and look how much money he makes and look how well he takes care of me or how good of a lover he is or how much he loves me. Like, that's not enough for me.
So he needs to be more than a pretty face.
More than a pretty face. And even if he's more than a pretty face, I mean, more is different for every person. Like, to me, you have to be intellectually on a high level. You can't just be like a regular guy. I didn't want him to be a regular guy. He was in many ways a regular guy.
So what do you mean by that, intellectually on a high level?
Like, someone, what I didn't see in him was that, like, someone who works on themselves, someone who tries to get better in every way in his life. Like, he was, but he was more thinking about his career. Like, okay, how do I advance my career? How do I make more money? But it wasn't about, okay, let me learn new things. Let me, I don't know, let me go do things that I've never done before, see what I can find out. And I don't know, I like someone who can, like, philosophize about things and make connections and connect the dots between different things in life and be even a little more spiritual. And I don't know, there was substance there, but there was not deep enough for me, I guess.
So how long did it take you to realize that's what it was?
I realized it right away, but I still went for the relationship because it was good for the moment for both of us. It was what it was. It was fun, it was friendship, and it was like a social thing.
So it started as like y'all would just go out and enjoy each other's company. Eventually it became more romantic between the two of you, more intimate between the two of you, but it was always fun, like, again,
yeah, it was
social
a good
interaction.
time. It was a good time.
Okay.
We did have good conversations, but somehow I always knew, like, it wasn't gonna get any further than that. And he didn't have the same values that I had. Like, it was more. I don't think he was established in a way, like, he didn't know what he wanted. Like, he didn't know.
You mean for his
Like,
own life?
he didn't know what he wanted in his own life. He didn't know what he wanted in a woman. He wasn't ready. And yeah, that's not long term for me.
When was the point, from your perspective, that he realized that you didn't want it to be a serious relationship, and he realized that there was a conflict between what he wanted and what you wanted?
I think he knew it right away.
That you were,
that
you liked them enough, but you weren't trying to be long term.
I don't know. That's hard. Actually, that's hard to say. I don't know. Maybe he didn't know it right away. It would be a wild guess for me. I don't know when he realized it.
But eventually he realized it.
Yeah, I think eventually he realized because he was trying to commit, more I was nonchalant about it. Like I wasn't really looking for him to commit and be all that.
What was he doing?
He would try to get closer, try to create like a tighter tie.
What was he doing? What would he do?
I don't know, acting like a boyfriend.
Like what? What do you do?
I don't know, bringing me things, telling me things, taking me places, introducing me to people, and all that stuff. So to me, I never got blown away by it. Like I was always holding back,
So was he showing you public displays of affection?
Yeah.
And that you didn't like, or you were okay with?
I didn't care for it. Like I didn't need it from him.
Right. So that is like more like a boyfriend thing.
Yeah.
You didn't want that from him.
Yeah.
So when he would do something, like give an example of something he tried to do, and you like pursued that.
He would like if we were in public and we were always like we were hanging out as friends. We weren't hanging out like holding hands and stuff. So from the outside perspective, nobody would know like we were a couple.
Only his friends and your friends knew that y'all
were
like.
But outside people, strangers didn't know.
Right.
So guys would approach me while he was standing right there, and he would become overprotective, and I would be like, chill, like I got this. You don't need to get in my space and deal with it. I can deal with it. If I need help, I'll ask you for help.
Right.
And then he learned to do that, but so many times I saw him in a corner, like fuming, like he was boiling on the inside. But he knew that if he like said something or came to a guy and told him not to talk to me, there would be like he would be in trouble. So he was trying to give me respect, but at the same time he couldn't take it.
So what is a man supposed to do in that situation? Like, you're talking to the girl.
Either you played the game or you get the fuck out. He played the game, so.
But you knew that he wanted to be your man. You felt like he wanted to be your man, or was he just doing that because he's like, yo, I've been with this girl behind closed doors, so I got a right to tell you other dudes to back off? Or was it because he was trying to be your man?
No, he knew if he became overprotective, I would cut him. Like I would cut him out of my life. So he knew that, and he was very careful with that. But at the same time, he was very macho-ish. Like he grew up in a culture where, in a very chauvinistic culture. So it took a lot for him to hold back and not react in those situations.
So some of it was him just being a man, like, yo, like almost like property.
Yeah.
And some of it was at the same time he wanted to be your man. So it's about both.
Right. Like he knew to give me the respect that I wanted to be given, and do what I tell him to do. Like you don't need to protect me unless I ask you. Like if a guy walks up to me and I don't want to have a conversation, I know how to tell him. Like I don't need you to come in and be like, yo, I'm her man. Like I don't need that. I can handle myself. If it gets physical or if I need help, I'm gonna say like, come and help me, or I'll give you a sign. So
the times that he did say something, how many times did he say something that you didn't want him to? It was just happened once and he stopped?
Well, there was one time where it became a brawl. So
he started a fight with another guy?
Yeah.
Was it warranted?
What does that mean, warranted?
Meaning
fair, like?
Yeah, did he need to step in and defend you, or was he just being a macho guy and started some shit that he couldn't let go?
He could have let go, but at the same time, he also had a reason to do it, because I told the guy I told him I'm not interested, and he still kept lingering. He wouldn't go away. So I told him I'm not interested many, many times, like few times, and the guy wasn't going away. And this guy that I was with, he got so fed up. He was watching, him and his friend was watching it. He got fed up, and he came and he said something to the guy, and then his friend,
the other guy's friend,
my guy's friend, grabbed the guy, the stranger that was trying to talk to me, grabbed him by his neck and carried him out by his neck.
So where'd the brawl begin?
It was in a bar.
So the guy who got the guy who was trying to talk to you got carried out. He fought back.
He couldn't fight back. He was suspended in the air, held by his throat.
So what was the brawl? Oh, that was a different situation.
Oh, and then it was then his friends got involved, and then our friends and their friends were fighting.
All right, so his friend saw that your friend, your guy, and his friend, so they double teamed him and pushed him out of there, carried him out of there, and then that guy's friends jumped in.
Yeah,
and the fight started.
Right, and then girls, guys, everybody was fighting. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
So who won the fight?
We won the fight. We won the fight.
Did y'all get kicked out of the
No, we were cool with the club owners. We were like celebrities, so nobody would kick us out.
So the other guys got kicked out?
So funny. They got kicked out. They got banned. They got banned.
Did they wait for y'all outside?
No. No, we were cool with cops and everybody. Like, everybody was nice.
Okay, so did the cops come?
Cops are there. Cops are there outside of the club.
Okay, so they just settled everything down and y'all went back inside.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, back to the subject. So this guy, or any guy that, well, let's keep on this one guy you were talking about. You knew that he wasn't long-term material, but you could tell that he was trying to be long-term material for you. What could he have done? Was there anything he could have done to change your mind, or did you, once you decided about him, he was just in that box, and that was pretty much it? So you got like the friend zone, you got the casual dating zone, you got the possible.
Yeah, no, I think you could have done things. It's never like grandfathered in when you're in one box.
It's not.
No, it's not. You can move around in different boxes. You can, because we're human beings. Opinions change. People change. Anything can happen.
So what could he have done to better his chances to get what he wanted? Which obviously he wanted to be your husband, right?
Yeah, I guess he could have found out what I was really looking for, and maybe become that person. But for himself, if he did it because he thought like, if he thought on a level of like, okay, if I want this girl for life, like for a long-term relationship, what kind of man do I need to be? And if he was that inquisitive about himself and his own life, I would be more interested in him.
So, what were some of the things, and I think this is an important question for a lot of men who might be looking for a long-term relationship type woman, but they haven't been able to find it, and they're looking at themselves thinking that they think they have the necessary resources to be that person, either tangible or intangible, but it's still not working. So what are some of the things that you've seen, whether it be with men you've known, or with men you've worked with, or just you see in general, or from women that you hear from? What are some of the things that men think they are bringing to the table as an asset that would make them a long-term potential, but that thing that a lot of men think is working in their favor is not actually what women are looking for? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? What are some of those things that men think, like, all right, if I do this, I can be somebody's husband, but it's actually not working?
Yeah. I guess it would be superficial things like looks and things and cars and money, like things that you can acquire, tangibles, right? Mm-hmm. They're always thinking about, okay, how can I look good? How can I be like a better provider and all that? But they ignore the internal growth that needs to take place. So they don't think deeply. So they always think about superficial things, right? So they'll put all their income in a car, or they'll get a nice place, or make a bachelor pad, or whatever. But they don't think about, okay, what do women really want?
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying many men will think that if they look good enough, or
external and material things would make them.
Okay, so anything that you can see on the outside, like anything you can post on Instagram.
Right.
So whether that's your body, where you live, what kind of car you drive, nice clothes.
Yeah.
They think those things will attract a long-term mate, but those aren't actually the things that, I know you're not speaking for every woman, but
right.
the things that when women are looking at a man long term, those are, you would say, generally not what they're looking for.
No. Those could be, attractive additions. There could be eye-catching things like, if you drive a nice car, if you have great body or whatever. But
it's like icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's just.
You gotta have the cake.
Yeah, where is the cake? Where is the substance? Women of substance look for men of substance.
Look at this building.
Yeah, I saw that. What is that building?
It's like residential.
It's huge. What neighborhood is that?
What you call this? This is like River, right over the river. So that's the other one that we have been looking at many times. That one right there. What's this one? But anyway, while I'm still on the subject here.
Yeah. So external things.
So it's
don't make a man.
So again, knowing the caveat that you're not speaking for every woman in the world. Do you believe that, generally speaking, for women of substance, because even though you're only one person, you know women who think similar to you. Do you think that women of substance would agree with the what?
This car we were going to buy. It's black.
That's good. So do you think women of substance generally look for those similar things? Man, it's cool if they have, obviously they gotta look good. Obviously you wouldn't even notice them if they don't look good. And if they have some material stuff, they gotta at least be able to provide food, clothing, shelter for themselves, if not for you as well. And it's cool if they got some extras.
Right.
But that's not enough.
No, it's not enough.
So
not enough.
You told me stories of men that you've met. Like they pitch themselves off this kind of stuff, and we know some men who we've heard of pitching themselves on these things. Like, yo, I can pay all your bills, or I got a nice house. I can take you on these trips, or I have this amount of money, or this is what I do for a living, and this is how much I make. And a lot of men, they put that on Front Street about themselves, and there are some women who get attracted to that.
Yeah.
It's not like it doesn't work at all.
Right.
So, if you are coaching a man, and you see that's the way he's presenting himself, what would you say to him?
Well,
and he's saying that, hey, I'm not attracting the kind of woman that I want, because that's his challenge. Even though I got all this shit, I'm not I'm not hooking the kind of fish that I'm trying to catch.
Even though you have all the external stuff?
Yes.
What do you think you lack in yourself to attract that woman? First of all, what are you looking for? And what do you think you lack internally for you to be masking it with the external stuff? Who are you not yet for you to catch the fish or whatever that you need to catch if you want to catch? First of all, do you even know what kind of fish you're fishing for? And then who do you need to be for that woman that you want? And who are you not internally? And what are you trying to compensate for that you don't have yet on the inside?
When you meet a man, how can you tell through conversation whether he's a person who has the internal substance, regardless of what he's showing on the outside? Like, if you were talking to him, let's say in your available days, you probably need some type of physical attraction that you can be talking to the guy. So let's just say he's physically attractive by whatever you're looking for, whatever you like. And then you start talking to him. How do you find out if he's that person who has that substance? What are some of the things you're listening for? What are some of the red flags you're listening for? How do you find out if he's the type of person who, like you said, is he knows what he wants, or he's trying to get better as a person, he invests in himself? How do you find out if he's that type of person, and how do you know if he's not? How long does it take to figure that out?
It doesn't take long at all. It could be in one conversation. It could be in less than a minute. It could be in seconds. It could be without a conversation. You probably know. It depends. But if I'm having a conversation, I think what I would explore is how has he made decisions in the past and how is he making decisions now? Like what prompts him to make certain decisions that he's made, from where he's living to where he's going on a daily basis, or what kind of things he's doing in life and how he's making decisions. I don't know, it's very general. Answer it general.
Well, we talked about
how
this.
He thinks, basically, like how he thinks and why he thinks the way he thinks. People will tell you.
Well, we talked about this in the person of substance conversation. That was
Yeah.
a 30-minute episode that we did here. So if y'all didn't hear that, then go look up And then Dre Show, Person of Substance, where we talked about this in detail. When I had my notes in front of me, we just kind of going off the top here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the subject here we're talking about in closing, anything you want to leave them with. The subject, once again, was dating someone who you know is not relationship material, but you date them anyway because it's something you're getting out of it. Anything you want to leave them with?
Yeah, I think you have to know what you want. You have to know what you want, and if you're dating someone that you know is not going to be long term, think about it as, is this the time that I'm wasting, or is this the person that is adding any value to me? Like, is this investment of my time, or is this a waste of my time? Like, am I trying to cover up and tell something about myself? Like, am I in this relationship because I'm lonely and I'm settling for less for now, or am I just having like a healthy exchange with someone? Like, if you have healthy exchange, would be like if you have physical needs and somebody fills your physical needs and you have a mutual understanding and it doesn't go anywhere from there, which is, for women it's hard because our emotions get involved, but it can still be healthy. Or are you filling some kind of a void? You know, are you numbing and masking and pretending? That would be an unhealthy relationship. And have the guts to say no to it, and have the guts to find out who you are, what you want, and how you actually get it, instead of wasting your time.
Okay, so we're going to close it on that note right there. This is Dre Baldwin, this is and Anna Dolce and Dre Show signing off, and